So I wanted to talk to you guys today about challenges. Challenges might be an interesting topic for today, but seems like feels necessary. In the world that we live in today, when we think and we hear the word challenges, a lot of times it comes with the thought of suffering, and it also comes with a lot of conditioned response of feeling like you're going to be pushed down. There's going to be struggle of some sort. And I want to offer a different perspective on challenges, a warrior's perspective. And that is to see each challenge as something to be able to rise up to be able to change and grow ourselves accordingly, to be able to not only meet those challenges, but surpass them and move beyond them. Each challenge that we might feel in our life really is just an opportunity for us to be able to grow. Because without growth, without being able to better ourselves, refine ourselves, fine-tune ourselves, life gets kind of stagnant and it can get a little boring. So when you do come across a challenge, maybe you're in the middle of one right now, instead of feeling like you're going to get beaten down by it, maybe take the perspective of, ooh, here's some fun. Maybe we can play with this a little bit more. It's offering you a chance to be able to step out of your comfort zone, out of your boundaries, to be able to move into something more. Whatever that more is for you, only you will know. As a warrior, when you encounter challenge on your path, it's almost like encountering a playground where as a child, you can reset rules, reset boundaries, and really play with what is possible. Each challenge should be looked upon as nutrients, like vitamins. When a tree grows strong, or when it starts out as a seedling, there are certain conditions that have to be right for it in order for the seedling to grow roots, for the roots to take a hold of the earth and the ground, and for that to be able to grow forth strong tree trunk, branches, and leaves. And each one of those nutrients, each one of those conditions that it encounters is essentially a challenge on this growing path we call self-development, self-discovery. Each moment that seedling is sprouting and growing, transforming itself more into a tree, it is discovering more of itself. It's discovering not just its potential, but also what that potential is supposed to be. Something interesting about this path that we teach is that it's so important to take what you know and put it into practice. That means you have to walk the walk. And that's so important because when you start walking on the walk, you might find yourself stumbling. You might fall. And being able to pick yourself back up over and over again. That if you were to fall 1,000 times, to pick yourself up 1,001 times. Cultivating that warrior spirit. That there's always more. The life we live today, it entails a lot of different roles that we might have to play that also can look like different costumes or outfits that we wear. Maybe you wear one for work, you wear one for your relationship, you wear one for your friends, and you wear one for yourself, just when you're by yourself. And it's important that when you move through these different costumes or outfits and roles that you play in life, that it's not done just on a stage or a theater. That it's taken off the stage and placed into the real world. So people don't necessarily have rehearsed lines when they approach you. You really have to be able to live in that present moment, to be able to feel exactly what it is that you need to say for the role that you're playing that day or that moment. And as we grow and as we learn, as we move through our challenges, become stronger by them, you may begin to find a fluidity between the different roles and different costumes that you wear. And that's good. You're beginning to be able to assimilate all the different pieces into kind of the greater whole. When you get adept at the fluid changes of the different roles you play, it really allows you to hone your practice a little bit sharper, a little bit brighter. A perfect example was at the last weekend. Dharma Center had her 16th anniversary celebration, along with celebrating our teacher Rama's birthday. And my costume for that event was to be the security for the event. And in preparation for the event, my mind had a concept of what being the security meant. You know, very serious, very stern looking. a rule enforcer. And when it came to that moment, that evening of the whole event, that costume that I played didn't always look the way I had imagined it in my mind. Because when I had now put it into real life practice, it wasn't a matter about being stern and having a scowl on my face. It really became about being an ambassador for the event, a peace ambassador, if you will. Being able to interact with all the different guests and the vendors that were there, not only sharing in the joy and the festivities of the event, but also being able to calm ruffled feathers, if there were any. And if people were a little bit lost on how they were supposed to do things or where they were supposed to go, to be able to show them, well, you might want to try it this way. I think the seagulls like what I'm saying. I think they're the seagulls. But just begin to notice as you move through your life and the various roles that you play, instead of having a specific idea of what it's supposed to look like or be like, to completely just surrender that and let that go and be able to live in the present moment, to see what is called for, what is necessary, to be able to trust that. And that in itself is a form of challenge. To be able to trust so completely the present moment and everything that you are, everything that you know, that whatever it is you're doing, saying, or being is totally perfect and totally right for that situation. But to be able to find that trust in yourself, it's not about listening to what others tell you necessarily. Sure, there might be people that guide you and maybe are your mentors, and that's totally fine. But being able to learn to trust yourself, that deeper inner part of you, comes through sitting in stillness, sitting in meditation, letting all the thoughts just fall away so you come back in touch with who you are. So let's go ahead and meditate for 3 songs. And we'll do some chakra meditation. So for the first song, we'll focus on our power chakra, which is a few inches below our navel. And for the second song, we'll focus on our heart, place of balance and love, your sense of humor. And for the third song, we'll focus on the third eye, between the eyebrows and a little bit above. And as you focus on these chakras, do the best that you can to place your attention, your full attention on them. And if maybe you notice your thoughts coming in, maybe just changing your attention and moving it to the music. And from the music, when you feel like you're ready to come back to focusing on your chakra, you can go ahead and do that. A little black box warning with chakra meditation is it's like connecting your system and hooking it up to a fire hose of water. So your mind being like a garden, wherever you direct that fire hose is what it will feed and grow. So make sure that you direct it towards thoughts that are nurturing and uplifting for you and your life, and not directed towards the weeds. Meaning, when you practice this practice, you counter it with mindfulness practice. So that when you get off your cushion or your mat, you walk through the day, whatever role that you've inhabited for that moment, that it's done mindfully and with awareness. Any questions? Can be about anything. Doesn't have to be about what we talked about. No questions on Valentine's Day? I'm surprised. When we do this practice, it's interesting to observe kind of as the world spins and turns and has its ups and downs and its many dramas and or holidays and or latest news, that you see it occurring and it becomes almost fascinating to you, versus feeling maybe as before compelled to move as the masses do. I was listening on the radio yesterday and they said that approximately $2.1 billion will be spent on flowers today. That's with a B. A lot of flowers. Flowers are a beautiful thing, absolutely. They connect you to higher planes of awareness. If you look at a flower, it blooms without, any specific reason. It gives of its fragrance, without any specific need for acknowledgement. And just as it quietly blooms, you try and watch the moment, the exact moment when a flower blooms, and I feel like I always miss it. Next thing you know, it's bloomed, it's open. And the same thing with, once it's bloomed and it's done its purpose, fulfilled its time, then it also just as gently passes away. So maybe offering ourselves to be a little bit more like flowers, humble yet beautiful, and each one perfect just as they are. No chance for questions? Another chance? Okay. So on that note, may you rise up to the challenges before you and be able to grow through them and enjoy a beautiful day today. We also have our next class starting at 11 with a lovely teacher named Isis, who is also here. And that starts at 11 and it'll go till noon. So you get double power. Double power pellets today. Yeah. Thank you.